And now, the After Action Review with Rod Rodriguez.
And welcome to another episode of the After Action Review Podcast. I'm your host, Rod Rodriguez. I am fighting some type of allergy thing right now, so I apologize if I sound a little strange or if I'm constantly doing that sound. That's not a sound you want in your ear, and I apologize for doing that just now. So, catching up lately on some recordings. A couple of weeks ago, I had an opportunity to go to an event called a hackathon. Now, I'm not a computer expert, but I'm smart enough to not need computer assistance. I can turn the damn thing on and off. I know how to install programs. I know how to fix things like, and I don't know, you putting in your passwords and, activating Windows and all this wonderful stuff. So I'm not computer illiterate, but I'm also not the most computer literate person on the planet. So when I had an opportunity to go to a hackathon, I took it, especially since it was veteran related. The event was local. It was here in D.C., and it was put on by Patriot Boot Camp. So it was an opportunity for me to also learn about what the hell Patriot Boot Camp was. I'd heard things about it, but I never actually got a chance to go to any of their events. So when it's right here in my backyard, gotta take it. Wasn't sure what to expect. I knew it was a 3-day event, and I knew a little bit about what hackathons were, but I guess I had a different perspective about a hackathon. I thought maybe it was people trying to hack, like a contest to hack a program or system. So I went in this thing completely blind, not really sure what a veteran hackathon was. Well, what it turned out to be was an opportunity for veterans who have an idea that they want to make reality through the use of applications and technology. They link them up with somebody in that field, an expert that helps them take that idea from their mind right to a phone, right to your computer screen, whatever. And I don't mean that dismissive, whatever. I mean that in the whatever sense of like, I don't understand a lot of what I saw because I'm not a programmer. But here's the thing. You don't need to be a programmer. What I walked away from this event was that I don't need to be a computer guy to go to an event like this. And in fact, I made the comment in this interview that had I known what it was, I wouldn't have brought my podcast equipment. I would have wanted to participate because I've got an idea for an app. I'm sure you do too. And this is an event where you can go and find somebody who can make that thing real, who can make it happen for you. So I spent 3 days with some amazing veterans, and I was thrilled to see them immersed in this contest, all of them vying for the grand prize, some Amazon Echoes. I saw them staying up late. And speaking of staying up late, they were probably drinking that coffee. I'm drinking coffee right now. In fact, I'm drinking some Seabag Locker coffee. That's right, Seabag Locker coffee. The freshest coffee you're going to get right to your doorstep. 4 days, roast a cup. Boom. Just like that. www.theseabaglocker.com. Enter promo code AAR. Save yourself 10% off your purchase. Very cool. So yeah, I definitely saw these guys and gals. I hate to say guys because I'm not trying to exclude anybody here. But I saw these veterans and veteran spouses. That's an important aspect to this because we often forget veteran spouses are part of this community, guys and gals. And they were working very hard, working very diligently to make the whole thing happen. I saw them losing sleep. I saw them coming in super early. And I mean, this is true dedication. This is not for the faint of heart. I saw people drop out. I mean, a couple of dudes just didn't show up anymore. And maybe they're not cut out for entrepreneurship. It's not an easy gig. This entrepreneurial endeavor is not an easy thing. So it is not to be entered lightly. And not one of these vets entered the hackathon lightly. And before we jump into the episode, I want to talk to you a little bit about the outdoors. I want to talk to you a little bit about your coffee. Now, I know when I take hikes, when I take a bike ride, I'm out in the middle of nature, especially when you do a long one, like 10 miles, 15 miles, man, you need a little boost to get back. Instead of drowning yourself in some disgusting energy drink, which I'm guilty of drinking all the time. But instead of doing that, how about you brew yourself up a fresh cup of coffee? But how are you going to brew up this cup of coffee when you're in the middle of nowhere? You got your sea bag locker coffee, but you got no way to brew it. But now you do. You do. If you go to www.thejavacan.com, you're going to find yourself a ruggedized coffee brewing system, all in one coffee brewing system in a 50 cal ammo can. That's right. It brews up a delicious cup of coffee anywhere life takes you. Use promo code AAR, get 10% off. www.thejavacan.com. Live life charged. Now, if you take a selfie with your Java can, tag us at hashtag the AAR podcast. I'm going to send you a free bag of Seabag Locker coffee. Just like that. Too easy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk a little bit about one particular individual who really makes this whole event happen. And that's Josh Carter. He is the CEO of Patriot Boot Camp. He's really the guy who masterminded this whole thing, brought it all together. I was very fortunate to sit down and talk with him. And it was really his invitation that brought me to the event. And I just want to say how much I appreciate the invitation. It was a great event. In fact, I would love to attend one in Denver. So if anybody wants to sponsor the AAR podcast, to go to Denver to participate in the hackathon, hey, shoot me an email. Hit me on, slide into the DMs. Send me to Denver. Or not. That's fine too. And that was my shameless plug there for sending me to Denver. Josh Carter is the Chief Executive Officer interim of Patriot Boot Camp. He is the mastermind behind the Vet Hackathon. Without further ado, I'm going to take you through episode 43. And this is the After Action Review podcast coverage of the 2018. What, 2013? What year am I in? The 2018 hackathon right here in Washington, D.C.
My name is Josh Carter. I'm a U.S. Navy vet, and I currently serve as the interim CEO for Patriot Boot Camp. Before that, I was a founder of a Techstars startup called Brightwork.io. We were a backend as a service to help developers just build applications faster, utilizing the skills they already had. So basically, if you think about applications having two sides, a front end and a back end, we provided everything on the back end pre-configured. And I took that through Techstars. So Patriot Boot Camp at its core is a 3-day program, very much modeled after the Techstars Accelerator program. So we take all of that 3-month programming and we condense it down to 3 days. So it's a fire hose of information that these veterans get and military spouses get. The issue is that we've consistently had all stages of founders come to one event. So we have folks that come and say, I have this idea. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we have the folks that say, I have a modest amount of revenue. I'm probably ready for an accelerator or my A round, right? The issue is that when we provide this programming, we have to provide it for all stages. And so as a result, we'll have, say, for example, an investor panel, people that are teaching people how to navigate the various stages of investors, how to approach them, how to tell your compelling story, how to be appealing to get a yes. Understanding the whole dynamics of what an investor does. The issue is that the people that are too early aren't really thinking about that yet. And the other side of that, the people that have already done it don't care anymore because they've already done that. Right. And so we really want to maximize that entire weekend. We want to make sure that every single minute is valuable. And so as we thought about this as a problem, we thought we need to start decoupling this. We need to start breaking this out so that we can be much more thoughtful and focused on our programming. So the hackathon was always something that we've wanted to play around with, but really didn't have the capacity or the skill set to do as an organization. And so when I joined in November, I joined from organizations like Twilio. I was an early employee at Twilio, and Twilio just kind of writes the book on how to do these hackathons really well. And so the moment I stepped through the door, I was like, we got to do a hackathon. We scheduled it for DC because we knew we wanted to expand our reach here. And it was just a no-brainer. We called 3 of my friends that are in companies and said, we're doing a hackathon. 3 days later, we got checks to sponsor it and launched a site, and here we are. So it's been a great journey in that we're able to start that process of decoupling the program. For those unfamiliar, hackathon is a 48-hour builder event. They come in with their idea. They say, I've got this idea. I need to build it in an app. And we give them a vehicle to do it in a 48-hour period. So they come in on a Friday afternoon. They get up in front of the room. They say, I have this idea and I want to spend the weekend building it. And then they break into teams and they spend the next 48 hours going out and they build it. And then that all culminates with a Sunday demo day pitch event where they get in front of judges. They tell their story and the judges score it. And then whoever wins. But it's really the more than anything, beyond the prize, beyond the network effects that you've experienced so far yourself this weekend, is just that ability to provide a vehicle for those ideas to take shape, to figure out if they have some sort of spark. And we always knew that Patriot Boot Camp as our core day 3-day program was never the vehicle for that. It just wasn't the appropriate place for that. This hackathon, this place where we can take ideas and take them from an idea to an MVP in 48 hours, is the appropriate place for those.
I'm Kim McCaffrey. My husband's in the Navy, and I'm a military spouse, of course. We are looking at creating an app for My PCS Binder because we feel this is an unmet need in the community. Everyone in the community PCSs, whether you're active duty or the spouse or the family members. And while there are many downloadable printables you can print out, there isn't a single app meeting this need. And we would like to join forces and create an app so in time for PCS season this summer.
I'm Carrie Lee Grady. My husband is active duty Navy, also a spouse. My goal with this is mostly to have fun and learn something new. So the fact that we get to build something that may actually be helpful to the community, the spouse community, specifically since we shoulder a lot of the responsibility of PCSs, kind of just a cherry on top.
Let's talk a little bit about what your expectations are coming to this hackathon. Is this your first hackathon? And if it is, what do you think you're going to walk out of this experience with? We'll start with Kim.
All right. This is my first hackathon. I did do a little sample hackathon a few months ago, and I really enjoyed it. And it showed me that this is a really great idea. I need to try another one. So when I saw this, I thought with it being military friendly, I was more receptive to the idea. It seemed more familiar. I'm hoping to get more experience. I've been trying to push my boundaries lately, step out of my box, and this is a new experience that I'm looking forward to.
How about you, Carrie?
This is my third hackathon. I've done one virtual, and I did one in Honolulu before we PCS'd over here. I'm hoping to get out of this first kind of a sense of accomplishment, because that's really been missing lately.
Okay.
I can use that right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
But also, we are part of MilSpouse Coders, and we're running our own hackathon in October. So
In Hampton Roads.
In Hampton Roads and virtually. And I wanted to see another hackathon that is specifically military-based to kind of get some ideas and see where we might be falling down in our planning.
Yeah, sure. So, Sam Altman, I've been in the Army since 2005. I went into the infantry, did 3 years as a scout sniper with the Army, combat deployment to Mosul, Iraq. And then in 2008, I decided that rolling around in the mud wasn't necessarily my thing. So went into the human intelligence realm and have been pretty lucky with a decent career, making rounds around kind of our intelligence community as a analyst and getting to understand it. So it's been a ride.
That's awesome. So tell me what brought you to the hackathon here.
So, this is what I would say probably my 6-year journey into this community. And when I went to grad school in George Washington in 2013, I was lucky enough to have Patriot Boot Camp come through and do a weekend entrepreneurial boot camp. That's when I started to get to know a lot of the supporters of that particular nonprofit organization. I have since stayed in touch. I've been to several of those organizations' events, and this was another one that through friends in the area, they told me about it. And so I said, hey, I'm going to be in the DC area and I want to learn a little bit about the actual technology side of things. So let me get up there and see if they can teach me something.
So you came in yesterday. Tell me about some of the expectations you had when you walked in the door.
Expectations I had when I walked in the door? Absolutely none. So I had absolutely no expectations because I had absolutely no idea what to expect. I only had the reputational knowledge of having been to several of the Patriot Boot Camp events throughout the country, and I knew that those were fantastic. They were always greatly supported. There was a great organizational team behind it. So I knew it was going to be fantastic.
What did you want to get out of this when you walked in? What is it that you came here to get?
So I came here to get knowledge, right? I'm in that area. I'm down in Tampa building a startup called WeCongo, which is let's say it's an Eventbrite style platform specifically geared for small conventions and conferences, right? I do not know much of the coding and development side of the house, and thus I'm dependent upon somebody in that field being truthful with me. So getting this knowledge, getting a little bit of knowledge into like under the hood of HTML development, it enables you to not be taken for a ride when you talk to some developers, or to understand the length of time necessary to do some of the development. So you can call BS if you need to. And so being at this event, I've already gotten that because I was able to get probably some one-on-one time with somebody and actually get questions answered the way that I could understand them. So that's been immensely valuable. I can't really name a price on that. So I've already gotten tons of value out of the event.
Hello, my name is Bernhard Kirchner. I'm originally an infantry officer with 12 years of service, and then I transitioned to a foreign area officer. I'm currently transitioning out of the military, and I'm set to start grad school up in New York next fall.
Tell me about how you ended up here at this hackathon.
How did I end up here? I think I received a email, or I saw some type of web traffic, and I was doing the startup weekend, and I was interested in, meeting some other people that could help me in this voyage. So I thought I'd join, and now I'm here.
What made you interested? What got you interested in entrepreneurship? So, being in the Army, I've had a wide range of jobs, and I've had the ability to be in a lot of different countries, experience a lot of different things, and looking for something following the military that kind of allows me to grow as a person and kind of continue that voyage. And entrepreneurship kind of seems to be a pathway that would fulfill all those needs, and for me. It sounds like this is a very personal experience then.
Yes. Coming out of the military, being in charge of soldiers and working with other soldiers is deeply gratifying, and to be able to have a small team and try to grow it, I think would also have similar gratification.
What were your expectations coming into this?
My expectations were that they may have been a little high because I felt that we were going to be able to push for a minimum viable product and to actually move forward in that. I was hoping to meet some other people that were passionate about entrepreneurship and that had other skills that I didn't have, and to work with them. So.
My name is Jamil Madden. I served in the Marine Corps as an infantryman for 5 years, and today I'm a software engineer.
My name's Michael Ertmer. I was Army Signal Corps in the 90s, actually, and I now run Bunker Labs in Madison, Wisconsin.
Now, what brought you guys to the hackathon?
So I volunteer for an organization called Operation Code. I'm their director of public policy. And earlier this week, before the hackathon, Operation Code hosted a congressional briefing. So as the director, I invited a panelist and staff members and policymakers to hopefully increase the dialogue to expand the GI Bill. And by default, this weekend also happened to be a hackathon, and I'm a coder, so put two and two together to get some magic going.
So part of it, I've been involved with Patriot Boot Camp since 2014. Attended 2 of them, and then actually ran one in Madison, which also happened to be Josh Carter's first Patriot Boot Camp. So that also set the stage for us to launch what became Bunker Labs in Madison. So big advocate of both Bunker Labs and Patriot Boot Camp. They overlap a little bit, but I've also been around Startup Weekend, so kind of the Techstars concept and product. And this event kind of focused on the Patriot Boot Camp community modeled after Techstars as kind of an experiment. Was interesting. And I'm trying to knock the rust off my coding skills. I usually describe myself, I've always sold the code. I never wrote the code. So I choked out an engineering undergrad and grad school engineering dropout. But so I've been around. I'm a kind of an advanced Excel programmer, but a lot of the modular stuff, even at this event, it's enough to kind of weave together some products. And the other thing that appealed to me about this weekend is to learn more about the Twilio product specifically. And we've actually got some modules that we're playing around with that might make for an interesting weekend project.
Tell me about some of the expectations you had for this hackathon.
Some of the expectations were for any time I enter a hackathon, free food, free drinks, not a whole lot of sleep, and a whole lot of Red Bull and coffee. So those were my expectations coming in yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, how about you, Mike?
Mine were pretty modest. Having been around, I wasn't personally part of a startup weekend, but I've kind of been around them. But generally just kind of factoring in it's 10 or 15 hour product cycle window just to kind of try to do something interesting and hash it together. And actually, as it turned out, ideas I've been kicking around for a while were pretty close to one Jamil pitched and happened to coincide with some tools that Twilio brought with them. So we're kind of playing around solving a problem that's relevant to me for both Bunker Labs and it might be useful for Patriot Boot Camp.
All right. Hello. My name is Joe. I'm still an active duty Marine right now. I've been in for 7 years. I will be approaching the end of my active service on June 1st. I'm currently doing cyber operations at U.S. Cyber Command in Fort Meade. And my plan is to hopefully start this software company to solve a problem that I experienced while I was in the military, and I know many other large organizations experience that same problem.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, Joe.
Hello, my name is Anthony. I am in the Air National Guard. I'm going on 10 years of service in the Air National Guard. I am in the cyber field as a cyber engineer officer. I currently am in the cyber security profession. Supporting government services.
Terrific. Now, tell me a little bit about how you discovered the Patriot Boot Camp hackathon. I'll start with Joe, and then we'll move to you.
Sure. So I took as part of the transition program out of the military, I took a 2-day entrepreneurial boot camp. I think that was hosted by the Department of Labor, I want to say. And there I met a classmate who recommended that I go to the Patriot Boot Camp. that I was just in the idea phase, and this would be a great place to meet with like-minded individuals, as well as maybe find some mentors. So I did. I applied for the Patriot Boot Camp back in December. I attended the Patriot Boot Camp in San Antonio. I think that was back in February. I got on the email distribution list, and I saw an event for Hackathon in D.C. The rest is history. That's how I ended up here today.
And how about you?
So I spent some time on Google searching for startup courses and potential immersion boot camps that assist with any idea that you may have for a startup. And I found Patriot Boot Camp. And I didn't want to come in with my idea. I wanted to come in and sort of assist from a brainstorming perspective and plug in suggestions to push someone else's idea. And then at the same time, sort of get some firsthand experience on that whole collaboration.
So you came here with what expectation? What do you want to pull out of this experience at the hackathon?
So I am a non-technical individual. I have a political science degree. Haven't done much with programming. Don't know how to code. But by being in the military, I have recognized a problem. I like solving problems, and I think that a software program is the best way to solve this particular problem. So I came to this hackathon hoping to meet to be honest, I'm hoping to meet a technical co-founder to partner with me on this adventure.
So I share the same thing, whereas I'm not necessarily a developer, a programmer. I am someone who mostly focuses on the security side, policy, and even seeing an idea and seeing where it's trying to go and assist to sort of bring it to fruition. I'm good with working with individuals and sort of aligning different efforts to bring out the solution and the problem.
So it sounds like right away, it sounds like one of the major obstacles that's in your way is you don't have a programmer on your team. You have this wonderful gentleman from Twilio who is offering you his assistance, his mentorship in this respect. How do you plan to jump over that hurdle that is the technology piece of your idea?
I guess it just has to be kind of sheer persistence, right? If I don't find a programmer at this event, I'll continue going to meetups. I'll continue reading my emails. Maybe the Patriot Boot Camp or another organization will ping me up for an event that I can go through. And through persistence, I'm hoping eventually I'll find someone who will partner with me.
There you go. So entrepreneurship. This is really what this event kind of boils down to, is entrepreneurship. And this is something that is taking the veteran community by storm. Everybody is trying to dip their toes, and some are actually jumping in head first into the world of entrepreneurship. Everything from T-shirts to coffee companies. You're here trying to enter the world of entrepreneurship through the technology side. This is something that we don't see that much from our veteran community. This seems like one of those what would you say, a millennial kind of approach to entrepreneurship. There's an app for that kind of thing. What have you talked about this type of idea with other vets, and what kind of feedback do you get from this technology idea that you want to pursue?
So I would just mention in New Orleans is like a startup incubator is happening right now in the city. So you have a lot of millennials who are coming up with brilliant ideas to sort of bring some attention to the southern area. However, there's a huge gap in participation from the military community. Has to do with a lot of lack of resources, of being informed on the different engagements. There could be a missing party or a partnership that can actually align military organizations in the community to get them to show up for an event and participate and showcase their military skill set, because we know by being in the military, a lot of our skills that we learn on the forefront, translate tremendously in the commercial sector. So,
right. I guess entrepreneurship just kind of has come natural to me. I always kind of have these one-off ideas for ways to solve problems that I experience, or just other things I'm interested in besides the military, but still kind of involve those characteristics of things that I learned while in the military. I've had ideas to open up, Mexican restaurants or breweries, or a way to improve upon a pocket flask or a hip flask. But the thing about this idea I have now is I think it's something that will bring the most value to the world. Even though I'm not a software guy, I'm not even a big computer guy. I'm very analog. I like the outdoors. I like simple things. But I want to bring value to the world. And this software program, I think, is the best way for me to do it.
That's awesome. Well, I'm going to be keeping tabs on you guys throughout this hackathon. We're going to talk a little bit tomorrow to see at the end of the day, what did you get out of it so far? What are some of the pitfalls, and what's your general experience here so far? And Joe, if I could have you switch seats with this gentleman here from Twilio, I'd love to just chat with him for 2 minutes.
Sure, thank you.
Even though he's not a vet, we're gonna give him a pass on that.
Okay, appreciate you going easy on me.
So if you could introduce yourself, that'd be great.
Hey there, I'm Kevin Wintery. I'm the lead engineer for Twilio.org, software developer for a company there.
Can you tell me a little bit about what Twilio is?
Yeah, Twilio is an API platform for sending and receiving text messages, making and receiving phone calls, and embedding various types of communications into software applications. So if you've used the Uber app, the text message they send you when your cab arrives is powered by Twilio. If you call your Airbnb host, those calls are powered by the Twilio platform.
Outstanding. Tell me a little bit about what your role here is.
I'm here today to provide whatever guidance and mentorship I can to folks that are I've been a software developer for about 11 years, so I have general technical guidance to offer. And if folks are going to use Twilio, I can obviously offer some pointers there as well.
So I want to point out an experience we just recently had that it actually brought a little bit of joy to my soul, and that was astonishing you with the facts behind the way the military works and our critical dependence on Microsoft Office. Some might even say total dependence on Microsoft Office. So as a civilian, I assume that you thought we had some really cool way of doing business.
I totally very much did. I thought there was some James Bond Q software system thing that would track all the information for everybody that's ever been in the military, where they are right this second, with up to the minute real time updates. So I did kind of get chills when you told me that the readiness of units is determined by data that's sitting in spreadsheets that may or may not be up to date. So I definitely was taken aback by that information.
And I wish I could have recorded your expression on your face when you were like, wait a minute, you're telling me it all hinges on a spreadsheet? I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it. And this is why we need veterans like these gentlemen here and people like you to bridge that knowledge gap.
Yeah, I think I didn't really understand the problem space until I started talking to the guys here, and I think I understand the way I would think about it from a civilian standpoint is this is just a really bad HR problem. There's people in an organization, nobody knows who they report to, where they are in the organization structure, how to contact folks, and it seems like the benefit in the military specifically. I think there is an application in the civilian space as well. But just better HR hygiene, if you will, would actually be super, super impactful in this situation.
It's amazing how important human resources is to every military organization. That's really the bedrock upon which everything is founded on. You can't operate, you can't go to war, you can't move a wheel on a truck unless everybody knows where they fit in the picture.
Yeah, totally. And like it just the, or organizations like that have, a centralized database of employee records that is 90% accurate, like in the civilian world, like that would actually be like kind of shitty. Like if you only, excuse my language.
No, you're fine. It's my show. Say whatever you want.
That like folks would like to get it to, 95, 99% accurate so they know what the reporting structure is in their organization. And like that's just for people making widgets. It's not for people doing important work like the military. So yeah, I know. I mean, it's a really big problem to tackle.
Tell me, what are you expecting to get out of this hackathon?
Well, truthfully, I've not been to it. I've been to many hackathons. Typically with people that have worked in technology before that are software developers, and what I am hoping to get out of it is learning more about this community and kind of learning to speak the language a little bit, and help a lot of the events that I would go to, like in the civilian world around hackathons, is like for the 9 millionth different social networking app, or a way to get your laundry done faster. I think that there are different problems that this community will think about solving that will be exciting to think about.
What I love about this event, and we've already seen it even though we didn't get a lot of people, is that we saw people come from New Orleans. We saw college students who go to hackathon to hackathon to hackathon show up just because they want to keep honing their skills. So I think it's different for every person to define what success is. In my mind, just providing the vehicle for those conversations to happen is a success. So as we're thinking about Patriot Boot Camp and we're defining these steps from early stage to growth stage, I would love to see someone from this weekend go on to Patriot Boot Camp 3-day, go on to some sort of growth stage program, and then 5 years from now get acquired or have some sort of great exit, right? To me, that is ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, what we're trying to achieve. So in the small microcosm of this vet hacks, the success for us is just that we've maintained their inspiration, that they still want to do something, because this is also a great place for them to figure out if this isn't something they want to do. If they leave here at 8:00 p.m., they wake up the next morning, they still show up at 8 a.m. when the doors open, and they're still not burnt out by 8 p.m. the next day, and they still show up Sunday and they're still excited, then that's probably the right person that wants to go on this entrepreneurial journey, which is easily the hardest thing you'll ever do in your life. If you can maintain your enthusiasm throughout all of that and still want to keep going, that's success.
This is the end of day 2. Where did you think you'd be at this point, and where are you now?
I thought I'd be rocking out some MongoDB, and I'm not. I'm back to MySQL, which kind of sucks, but you do what you do.
What do you mean by that? Tell me about that.
I'll just pivot when something goes wrong, and I had a lot of trouble with my Linux not accepting any changes today, so I had to peel back and go with what we have standard on my web server.
Okay.
Which is not MongoDB.
No.
No.
So how about you? Where did you see yourself at this point, and where are you now?
I was very open-ended. I didn't really want to dream too far ahead. I wanted to just take it as it came. So I'm very pleased with the ideas we have. We have quite a lot of ideas, and it really, overnight, they just kept coming. So fleshing all that out and making the different web pages and bringing it all to life, and then Kerry found Bootstrap, and we sicked that on it, and it was snap, and it was like little fairy dust. It looks really good. Well, it's coming, but it was a big improvement.
How would you describe the last couple of hours since you walked in to sitting down with me right now?
We haven't been here hours.
You haven't been here hours?
Not in the room.
It's been kind of a roller coaster today, and I didn't expect that. I didn't have any expectations when I came in, so I didn't have a lot of buy-in, I guess. And I'm surprised by how much buy-in I gave myself today. And it ended up stressing me out some. I was kind of taken aback by that.
Do you feel like you're on track?
Mostly. Like, I think we can pull a few hours when we leave here tonight and be okay tomorrow.
I'm thrilled. I think we're doing fantastic. I was really surprised our third teammate never showed up today. So I think with just the two of us, we've done really well. And this is our first time working together, and I think we're rocking that aspect. And I'm pleased. I'm really pleased. And then we're talking and hobnobbing with everyone and pitching it to people and getting more comfortable talking about the ideas. It becomes more concrete, and you believe in it even more. And then you say, oh, wait, this isn't just for military families. This can be used for civilians too. I mean, yeah, there are a couple moving apps for civilians, but they're crap. And ours is so much better.
Already. I love it.
So yeah, I'm pleased.
Yeah.
So if you could go back in time and talk to yourselves yesterday before you came in about where you're at right now, what advice would you give yourself 24 hours ago?
Go simple.
Go simple.
Go simple. I was hoping to learn some new stuff this weekend and shouldn't have done that. That ended up taking up way too much time. So that's what put us behind.
I think I would have said put the hard stuff in the morning when I'm fresher, because in the afternoon, my eyes were just glazing over. And I should have saved the light, fluffy stuff for when I needed light, fluffy stuff.
Now you're into day 2, and this is the day is actually pretty much getting wrapped up very soon. Where are you guys on your project?
Currently, the build is broken, so there's going to be several hours of debugging left to do. So even though the doors close at 8 p.m., we're still going to be working around the clock, even after doors lock up.
So a couple of my tasks, they're doing the heavy lifting. I'm doing some glorified account management, which was actually installing a new Twilio. We'll be one of the first users of Twilio for Salesforce. So I happen to already kind of be a Salesforce power user for better part of 10 years and a glorified admin. So it kind of installing the new Twilio for Salesforce application, and we just got that working. So kind of glorified account management, but it felt like programming because it wasn't actually in the App Exchange yet. So we've got that functional, and now we're just kind of playing around for different things to do API calls for the demo that we've got in mind for Saturday. So we're in kind of beat the clock phase to prepare for the demo 1 o'clock on Sunday.
Do you feel like you're at where you thought you would be at this point in the game?
No, I thought we'd be moving along a lot quicker. We're using a new technology. It's something I haven't personally used, and so when you take the risk of running into time sensitivity and trying to get your build in place before the clock runs out. So no, I didn't think we'd be at this point, but you never know what's going to happen in the next hour or two. So we might get that aha moment and actually debug it.
We'll see. I think it's par for the course. Having been around enough, kind of startup weekends, it's always you hit a lot of problems, especially towards the end of the first day, and then towards the end of kind of call it the build day. Mm-hmm. And Sunday morning is when hopefully a lot of things start falling into place quickly because we'll have more bandwidth to kind of play around with it over the evening as we've kind of divided and conquered the plan. and hopefully it'll coalesce in the morning. But I think we've got enough to kind of weave together the concept and demonstrate the concept that we want to build towards. And it's pretty straightforward. It's just one of those things where it's not, I think J Hipster or was the platform that was chosen. I'm not personally familiar with it, but Norris and Jamil, our third musketeer, chose it, and neither one of us are familiar with it.
It sounds cool.
Yeah.
J Hipster.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like
Better than J Hamster.
J Hamster. Yeah. That sounds like a site that you shouldn't be going to.
Yeah. I feel like my Pandora music selections just got cooler.
Yeah, 100%.
J Hipster. So we'll see. So that's the only kind of wild card right now, but that could fall into place very quickly. And once that does, that'll be the kind of the breakthrough that'll get us to where we need to be. So we'll see. It's it's a coin flip right now if we have it fully functional as we originally intended, but we could probably get something functional to demonstrate the concept.
Gentlemen, we are at the end of day 2. Tell me a little bit about where you thought you would be and where you are.
So honestly, I feel actually more ahead than where I thought I would be. I was pretty nervous yesterday. Anthony came over to my team. We started talking, and we realized that neither one of us were a programmer. And I was like, oh no, this weekend is not going to be very productive at all. But luckily, Kevin, he didn't join our team, but he gave us a good amount of mentorship yesterday. Today, I asked him simple question: what is the best wire diagramming tool you know of? And he told me, he said Balsamic. So I got a free license of that today on my computer, and I've been using it all day to just kind of wireframe what I have on my head, and it's been really neat.
So yeah, I would agree with that. It's been more of a, we're not programmers, so what can we do to actually make a product out of the make a solution out of the problem that Joe came with. So we took a step back and kind of like played end user. How will we like different views to look at the finished design? So we took that effort, because in most development stages, you want to get to a drawing board and sort of map out how that visual is going to look based on the schematic of the design. So we sort of focus more attention on that. And with the wireframing platform, we were able to tweak those aspects of it. So yeah, I think we actually further ahead than we envisioned going into it. So
where do you feel you're at right now in terms of where you want it to be?
Kind of a tough question, I guess. So I came to this, my goal of coming to this event was getting one step closer to finding a technical co-founder. I thought that maybe I might even get some code, meet some people who might start putting code together to build this platform. I did not get either of those things. I am going to get some introductions to people in Kevin's network out here in DC who are programmers. And I'm walking away with this wireframe and just a couple more people in my network. So I did not get what I expected I would, but I'm very happy with what I'm getting from this event.
How about yourself?
So interesting is I didn't come here with certain expectations, other than to sort of plug in where I may fit.
It sounds like you did exactly that with Joe's team.
Exactly. So it was more so about opening myself up to the experience, getting involved in that aspect of it. That way, if I do pursue another hackathon type opportunity, I have a bit more experience to add to that type of exercise. So in hindsight, didn't have any true expectations, but in the end, there was some sort of expectation of just the experience aspect of it.
If you guys could go back in time and talk to yourselves 24 hours ago, what would you tell you about where you're at?
That's a good question. Hindsight is 2020, right?
Oh, it's the clearest.
Yeah, that's a tough question. I guess it's I'm not sure if there was anything I would tell myself differently than I allow myself to go along with it. Because it's like in these types of events, it's really challenging to actually plan out, execution. We know this, quite frequently in the in theater. Like you plan a mission or a tactic, but like quickly, like for instance in the hack challenge we had today, where we had to build these cups in the stack as high as we can within a minute, and we knew we had to build a foundation first. But in the waning seconds, we were like, oh no, we need to hack this challenge, and that's what we did. And we end up winning. So it's just a more so of like, you can do all the planning you want ahead. It's really going to come to crunch time to sort of, look beyond, the scope to actually, truly, hack the intent of the effort or the.
Yes, if I could go back 24 hours, I would definitely tell myself to get that program, Balsamic, yesterday. I could have been pretty productive playing around with that yesterday during the event. I would have gone home, probably spent all night on it. I would have come here to this morning with a much more refined product and just ready to rock and roll all throughout the day today. But instead, we spent many, many hours this morning just kind of figuring out how to use this product rather than building what is like kind of in our minds.
Speaking of what's in your minds, tomorrow, this thing is going to wrap up. Tomorrow, presentation time, crunch time. Where do you envision yourself at tomorrow?
I envision us being able to just demonstrate our wireframes. It's probably not what like the judges are going to be looking for. I think they want to see, much more code. But I'm very happy with where we're at right now, even though, it's not really like the intent of the hackathon. It's still progress on what I'm working on here.
Yeah, I think it's really more so about prototyping, what can be, and actually filling the blanks by telling a story along with the demo of it. I think that's truly, what's going to capture the judge's attention more than the finite detail of the actual design. Whereas I think Joe is there's a ways away before he gets to that aspect of it.
My name is Justin. I do developer relations at a company called StackPath. StackPath is a security company focused on edge infrastructure. We do internet services. We were a sponsor of this event, and so I came here to represent StackPath and help with the event as much as I can, whether that's helping people with code, talk through ideas, or just being a happy supporter that likes to high five.
Awesome.
My name is Yool-Bin U. I'm a recent graduate from the University of Maryland, College Park. I was a software developer from signal processing and company now I'm unemployed. I'm like, and I have nothing to do, so I decided to join this hackathon in this weekend. So I'm a participant, and I had a really great conversation with vets, and my role would be I was supposed to develop a web application and implement their business idea, but I kind of failed. No, I did not have enough time to fix my bug and errors. So, well, that's it.
Well, that's interesting. So have you guys worked with veterans in the past, or is this the first time you've worked with veterans kind of closely?
This is my first time.
Okay.
This is my first time having a serious conversation with a veteran. It's kind of really great opportunity for me to understand what kind of a problem they're facing. I mean, before I came here, I never heard about the program called TAP.
TAPS.
Yeah, TAPS. Yeah, I mean, they were complaining why this program sucks and blah blah blah. So I was kind of excited to figure out how to solve this problem and make a better program. Yeah.
Awesome.
I've worked with veterans professionally on various projects or just on teams over the years.
So tell me about your experience here at the hackathon. I saw you working with a couple of different people. Veterans approach problems a little differently than our civilian counterparts. I think sometimes we attack our problem a little more aggressively, and I think that's just our culture. But one thing we don't associate with veterans often is technology. I can tell you right now, nobody's thinking programmers, veterans. That's not the thing. We always think programmers, millennials, programmers, civilian, college people. Where do you think the veterans fit into that picture after working at this hackathon?
I met a couple of veterans here that were programmers. It seemed like the majority of the people here were interested in programming and kind of gotten started, and they're using this as an opportunity to learn, which I think is really at the core of what hackathons are and what they should be. So that's great. I don't necessarily think veterans in programming or not think veterans in programming. I hadn't put that much thought into it.
Yeah.
But what I met here were people that were really excited about the opportunity to learn and excited about technology.
Yeah. How about you? What was your experience with that?
Well, I agreed with Justin, honestly. So I'm working with my teammate. His name is Jamil. He is a veteran, and he's now a front end developer. So, and he was really eager to learn more about programming. He kind of wanted to learn my Java Angular Java Spring framework ability. So he kind of wants to participate what I was developing on. But even though it didn't turn out well, but still I kind of learned that there are veterans who are interested in programming. Yeah.
And as we finish up day 3 and we're going to wrap up this hackathon, what are you walking out of this event with, Justin?
Every event I go to, I try to connect with people. So I've met a couple of people that I probably wouldn't have met without coming to this event. So hopefully I'm walking out with some new relationships. I'm definitely walking out with a respect for these veterans that are coming in and flying here from, they're not just locals, they're coming from various areas of the country because they're excited to get involved. So that for sure.
I don't know. I don't know what to say, but I honestly came here for fun, meet new people. I just like to have talking with new people.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, I did.
And you met new people?
I did.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
You did what you wanted. You did what you came to do.
Yeah.
Success.
And I had a lot of foods, so
yeah.
Pretty good. So
was good. You guys were well fed for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, thanks for taking a couple minutes out of your time here at the hackathon, and I'm sure all the other veterans have already expressed their gratitude for you guys to be here. but I can sincerely say that one of the gaps in all the veteran businesses, every veteran business I've talked to, the biggest gap is the technology gap. Trying to produce an app that adequately and professionally reflects what your business is trying to do. We can't do that without people like you who are holding our hands and saying, don't be scared of technology. It's okay. The numbers mean something to me. And that's all that matters to me. Because remember when they pulled that console up on the screen, I didn't know what the hell was happening. I mean,
it's the Matrix.
It's the Matrix. He might as well have been casting a spell. I don't know what's happening. I get it when people in the olden days were like, it's the devil's work. I didn't know. I was frightened. I wanted to burn someone at the stake. So, all right, guys, thanks again. And hopefully we will see how this whole hackathon culminates in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah.
All right. All right, so we are in day 3 of the hackathon. How are we doing?
Yeah, it's going well. We walked in with 4 teams and 1 team broke up, so now we have 5 teams. Yeah, so we'll have 5 presentations today, which is really exciting.
I've had a chance to listen to the evolution of some of these projects as they've gone along, and I've seen maybe a sense of confidence day 1. Panic day 2. And I think
accurate.
It's pretty accurate. And I think there's a sense of resolution day 3, but we're still seeing some people kind of like rushing at the very end, still hacking away at keyboards. How does this hackathon compare to some of the more civilian style hackathons that you've been part of?
Yeah, I think it's no different, to be quite honest. I mean, it's the same anxiety that everybody has when they're building something, and these guys are no different. I think the focus for this is really different, and the way that these military spouses and veterans view this event perhaps is a bit different, and the way they approach it. So it's not that I'm seeing panic per se. It's that I'm seeing just this will and dedication to figure out how to solve this problem efficiently. Right? I mean, would you say that?
Yeah, I feel like everything you're saying is kind of like spot on for these types of events because I think people come in with a lot of excitement and bravado, and then like that second day, you're like, ooh, and I think it forces you to really look inside and go, okay, this is not what I thought, but then that's where their main breakthroughs come through. And then there's that sense of like pride and I think hope at the conclusion, which is really exciting. So, it's almost like formulaic in a way, but I think it creates a lot more than in the normal progression of events. If you were to do this over the course of days, weeks, months, like it just makes stuff happen faster. So
can you give us a quick introduction to who you are and what you're doing here at the hackathon?
Sure. So my name's Emily McMahon. I'm the executive director of Capital Post in Alexandria, Virginia. And we're also the proud home of Bunker Labs D.C., which is a partner of Patriot Boot Camp. Our mission is to train military veterans and spouses to think and act like entrepreneurs here in the Washington D.C. region. And so we're here really this weekend as a partner to Patriot Boot Camp here in Washington D.C., but also nationally. I mean, I think we all sort of have a role in this process at different stages. And so it's been really fun. I think PBC's first event was here in like 2013 or 20.
Yeah.
So
George Washington University.
Yeah. So it's been really fun, I think, to sort of partner and see these relationships unfold and these connections. And also we always use the kind of term like passing the baton across to different organizations based off of the stages that companies are at. And so by that, what I mean is usually we're passing folks off to a PBC that are tech focused and usually at later stage. And so that's really kind of how our organizations intersect. I know Josh has been working with the CEO of Bunker Labs, Todd Connor, for quite some time to try and get these hackathons off the ground in these different cities. But I think it just makes you appreciate that this is something well beyond Washington, D.C. And this is like a national, we're all doing this. So it's kind of cool to see these cities intersect as well, and people flying all over the country. So
one of the things that fascinates me about this hackathon, it is not what I would typically associate with veterans.
Yeah, and that's by design, right? I mean, we wanted to open this up to a much larger community. We wanted to expose the veteran entrepreneurial, the military spouse entrepreneurial community to everybody else that's out there. And so that was why we wanted to partner with Bunker Labs and Operation Code, because we wanted to introduce this very clear and defined workflow. As Emily already alluded to, there are these things that we're really good at in a very strategic way. And I think if Operation Code is that first step, then Bunker Labs is that next step, and Patriot Boot Camp, as you've already alluded, is that third step. And this was our way to introduce that workflow to those that are unfamiliar with all of the organizations. And so that's why when we created Vet Hacks, we created it as a separate website. Patriot Boot Camp's logo is, just in the same space as everybody else's, because it's a collaborative event. It's our way to introduce that workflow in a way that makes sense to everybody.
So you're going to be one of the judges. We're talking before the actual competition, before everybody does their pitch.
Yeah.
And you've been the judge of a couple of other different pitch.
Sure.
And I hate to say contest, but I mean, I guess in a really weird kind of definition.
Yeah.
What is it that you look for when it comes to these types of events?
Sure. So when I'm listening to pitches, definitely looking at one, the quality of the problem is something that I'm always really focused on. Is this a problem, and is it a problem we're solving? We really look at the team pretty closely. So a lot of times, you can tell you're really kind of judging the quality of the entrepreneur and the team that they've put around them. This is obviously a little bit of a different event, obviously, but for our competitions, we're really focusing on the problem they're solving, the team, traction. Like, is this a company that has got off the ground? Have they gotten out? A lot of times we love to hear kind of like, hey, this is our go-to-market strategy, but they've already done something and gotten that feedback and gone through a couple of the iterations that really gets us excited as judges, I would say, or just listening to them. But it's really a chance to see the teams and these entrepreneurs up close and see their confidence, see what they've learned, and ultimately see sort of their dedication to kind of going through this process. So, Josh, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that too.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it is it's pretty much the same way I would look at a company who's thinking about going through any part of the stages that we've outlined, right? I look at a team that has done their homework, that understands the space, that knows the problem they're solving. And then it's funny, I've done a few interviews where people ask, like, how do you find your first customer, right? And a lot of entrepreneurs, what ends up happening is they're solving a problem because they've been pained for it with it, right? So then you're the customer, right? Like, then find more yous. Yeah. That's the point. And so if you could find more people that are pained with this problem like you are, then chances are you're onto something.
And that's what's so fun is when you see folks that exactly like this might be something that they've experienced, but then they ultimately talk to a lot of folks and they get that feedback and they change and they kind of, change whatever they're doing around that feedback, and they're part of that process. And then those folks are their customers and kind of going along that journey with them. And so it's all these little mini experiments to kind of get to that point. And when you see those folks, and this is the thing, is that's what you're looking for, is somebody who can ultimately get excited by that process and isn't so wrapped around the axle on their solution that they're like, nope, can't go for it. Like, this is what we're doing. And that's unfortunately where we see a lot of folks is they come in with a solution that nobody wants. And then they're trying to back into, why doesn't anyone, like, what's going on? Oh, like, nobody wants to invest in this kind of, and then we kind of have to take them back to the beginning. And that's a really tough process to sort of unravel versus starting from the beginning correctly. And it's very humbling, and then team, I think, is really important as well. So obviously this is different with the respect to team, but just who are these people on your team and what are they doing? What are their roles? What's their experience? How do you assemble that group of folks? Who's the next group of folks you need to bring in? So we get pretty nerdy about this.
So this is the wrong place. This is the wrong place to pitch my idea for solar powered night vision goggles then.
Oh, you want to go up right now.
Probably not going to work out. Yeah. So we're at the end, we're wrapping this up. what are you going to do differently? What could we do better
Sure.
for the next hackathon?
Oh, so many learnings for this one. Look, I think the biggest thing that we learned with this one particularly was that location matters, right? I mean, PenFed's been this is an amazing space. I couldn't have asked for a better space to put together a hackathon. A brand new building, huge meeting rooms, fast Wi-Fi, breakout rooms with state-of-the-art facilities. It just happens to be 40 minutes away from anything that people want to be in. So it's, I think that's one of the learnings. I think for us, just building better awareness, making sure people understand. We did a pretty good job, I think, at the awareness piece and engaging our local community. But again, I think the location was a big part of that. That's just one piece. The other part is as we start to experiment with what we're doing here, I don't know that we need to do just a pure hackathon, right? Maybe there's programming involved. Maybe there's a piece of it where, we teach them things that Bunker's teaching them, which is like, great, you think you have an idea here? Here's how to form your entity. Here's how to create a partner agreement. Here's what a cap table looks like, right? Like some of the very, very early step one, how to form a business type of programming that we could possibly provide as part of this hackathon.
I agree too. I think so. I'm taking from my role being here in DC. I feel like what else could we do either in collaboration to sort of like create almost these collisions of people that might not think, oh, this is for me. Like, no, actually, some of it's just being present. And so I've heard the comment about like the muster that we just did. Maybe you could parlay some of that around some bigger programming or something throughout the weekend. But yeah, I'm excited. This is my first time actually meeting Josh face to face. So we've been emailing back and forth, right? So that's the other thing is I feel like now, DC is just such a great city. So I'm interested to hear like how the other cities like going forward. But I definitely hope you guys come back.
No, absolutely. 100%. We love it here. Yeah. And everybody, we have a great Jen Pilcher from Military One Click, one of our alumni is here. Matt Lembright from Enabled is here. Like we have a really strong alumni / community of partners that are here to be helpful within the ecosystem in general. Yeah. And we want to be good stewards of that relationship. We want to make sure that we're respectful of that relationship and that we come in and we're helpful and valuable. Yeah. And so part of that is creating these programs that can not only help our PBC, but help Operation Codes alumni, help Bunker Labs community. Yeah. And I think part of the fun that I'm seeing with this hackathon are the connections that are being made. We had, even you, like you met Sam here, who we hadn't seen since election. That's amazing. Yeah. Like just randomly, like who would have thought at a random hackathon that you're coming in to record a weekend and you reconnect with somebody you went through selection with. Yeah. It's phenomenal. Or Anthony that came up here from New Orleans for this event specifically, or a student hackathon guy that came in just to keep working on his chops. Like those are the amazing connections that just happen at a hackathon of these intangibles that are just so magical that I love that we are a facilitator for. And I would have loved to have more people here because I think we would have had more of those stories to tell. But even if we walk away and with this not being very well attended, those to me are success stories. People that I talked to Sam earlier today, and he said, I sat down with the guys at Twilio. I had a very nominal amount of skills. I'm walking out of here knowing that I can build something on Twilio and be successful. Yeah. Boom. That's a win. That's successful.
Well, all right. Well, we got a couple minutes before we got to get out there and do this competition thing. Any parting thoughts? Any parting shots before we head out there?
No, I'm excited. This is the best part, I feel.
It is. Yeah.
There's the nerves, there's the excitement, and then I think it always does feel good at the end where everybody gets through the pitch. So I'm excited. Yeah. There's
a bit of a relief, right? Yeah. Like we got through it. We got through the first one. Yeah. Let's keep going. Yeah. Let's do the next one. And I'm excited too. I'm glad that there's teams out here just focused, heads down, spent the entire weekend. That's the thing about the hackathons. Yeah. If you have somebody that comes in Sunday morning and they're still enthused about what they're working on, they're probably fit for this, right? Like there's a few folks that left, right? Yeah. And they're probably not fit for being an entrepreneur if they can't handle a weekend hackathon. That's
what I was asking questions. Yeah. I'm like, what was your night like last night? Yeah. What did you get in this morning? Yeah,
and if the same people that came here Friday with that enthusiasm and are not here Sunday, there's a reason.
It is the end of the hackathon. You didn't win, neither one of you, but everybody kind of won in their own way. Everybody's walking out of here with something. Sam, tell me about what you are walking out of here with.
So, I don't know what you just said, but I won. I'm a winner. No, it was exactly what I needed. This weekend was amazing, not just here. Right. There was just an amazing coincidence. Like I opened up the curtain to my hotel room and there's this visual BI company's headquarters just staring me in the face. And I went over and made a contact with an exec and I'm going to talk to him Monday. So, but getting here, the big thing is it solved a huge problem in bringing a prototype to market for me. Because now I know the driving directions to go create my own technology solution. I know the driving directions to tutorials, and I've got the environment set up on my computer, and I can go home and drive for a month or two, and I'm going to come back with this solution. And the number one and number two thing that I see like holding entrepreneurs back is like them saying like, "Hey, I don't have the money to, buy a technology guy to make the website." Well, it's like the misnomer there is, well, if it's a good idea and you've got traction, the money's going to find you. Two, the misnomer, if that's your obstacle, go out and be your own solution. Learn, make your own tech. So now I'm, saying it later, like I feel weaponized. I can go home and make my own solution. And so I'm a winner.
I love it. I love it. Bear, what are you walking out of here with?
I think I'm walking out with a better understanding and a better path forward. So having the wireframe for me will allow me to go out and talk to people and give them something to interact with and to be able to get feedback from people. So that way I can validate my idea outside of my friends and family who are, may have a bias in that. And I can take their feedback too, I think probably a little more honestly than I can if my wife tells me I should go a certain direction. So I think it's a positive for me, and it's been part of my transition out of the military. I've wanted to hit this, and I'm entering my transition leave this week, so it'll give me that forward momentum that I think will be great for me.
What's the next steps for you and your respective businesses?
So for me, I'm going to go out and talk to people. I'm going to go out and beat the pavement, go to coffee shops, go to colleges, go to places where people are around, and I'm going to try to get my idea in their hands and let them play with it and give me feedback. And then I'm going to approach the business model after that and work on that once I have a little more clear direction and it's validated.
Sure. Yeah. No, for me, this whole thing is a calculated glide path toward trying to get investment or revenue positive before I myself run out of money or debt capacity, right? So now that I can go home and kind of help bring the tech solution to market, I've really cut down on the cost. So I'm ready to go home, kind of hack it out, and get a solution to market.
Is this what you expected?
I think it was different, but it met the goal of what I expected. So it was great. Great people to be around, great ideas to, hear from other people and understand where they're coming from and where they've gone in their path, and then to take that on. So for me, it was great.
So, I've been to hackathons. I've been a mentor at hackathons. So I kind of knew the traditional what to expect, but as I told a lot of people, I didn't come in with any expectations of anything. And I say, I got tremendous value. The awesome thing for me was the flexibility for me to kind of sit down and color and learn on my own time scale, right? Not being forced to get with somebody else's idea and spend the weekend doing that. I was able to concentrate on me. So that was awesome.
That's terrific, guys. If somebody wants to learn more about your business idea, the project that you're working on, or maybe somebody says, I can collaborate with this guy and make it happen, how can we get a hold of you?
So I'm on LinkedIn or Twitter. Twitter is probably the easiest way for the website, Grafbika, with a P, FP.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'm on both Facebook, LinkedIn. You look up Sam Altman, and if it looks like a guy that has $1 billion in a company called Y Combinator, that's not me. I'm the
Different
other
guy.
One. I'm the other one. The Tampa version. But you can also go to the website, www.wecongo.com, and shoot me an email.
Gents, thanks for participating in this event. We need more veterans like you who have an interest in technology and want to merge their military experience with this world of applications and programming, stuff that honestly I need to get more smart on because I is not good at this. So, any parting shots?
I just want to say thank you to everyone that participated and organized the event. It's been great, and I appreciate all the sponsors. It really does mean a lot.
Yeah, thank you to them, echoing that, but also, thank you to yourself. Thank you to everybody that adds value to this community, right? That kind of provides us kind of a platform to land on, and other transitioning guys. I did want to make a comment based on what we talked about yesterday, the selection, right? The Special Forces selection. When we found that out, I went home and I thought about it, and the way we phrased it yesterday about not having the right mental mindset. I think the way to rephrase that, and you then asked the follow-on question about what was some of the best stuff you got out of the military, was that the mindset needs to be showing up to win, right? The idea of showing up and getting accolades just for showing up and completing something can only take you so far. Eventually, you need to show up to win with that mindset. And I think that's something that the military will teach you if you had not learned that in high school and sports and all that fun stuff.
Barry, got anything to add to that?
I think that's a key point. It's pretty good.
Fantastic. All right, gents. Thanks again for coming down, and best of luck to both of you. Hopefully, I will be talking with you soon about your business. All right. It is the end of the hackathon. Tell me about what you're walking out of this hackathon with.
For myself, it's been a huge learning experience in terms of collaborating with people with all kinds of different skills. And at work, I'm usually working with technically inclined people, and I just code. And in this hackathon environment, we had individuals who have their leadership traits and other skills that are completely different from my skill set. So taking away a lot of learning experience from this.
So we didn't win the overall prize, but we did win the Legos. So
you did win the Legos.
Which
that's pretty cool.
Yes. So it included the Star Wars Legos and the Black Panther, the highly coveted Black Panther logos. So that was nice.
I heard they come with free samples of vibranium. That's just...
I haven't seen the movie yet.
It's going to be great.
I'll take that in stride. But yeah, those actually came from Twilio. So they were pleased. We actually were one of the first 50 users they have so far of the Twilio for Salesforce app. So we actually had, we kind of became a beta customer over the weekend. So they appreciated us testing it out. It was fun to work with. For us, it was useful because it was kind of a low code environment tool. So I usually describe myself as a recovering engineer, recovering mostly from the stereotype. I choked down programming in the 90s and haven't really touched it since. So for me, it was, a kind of a reset and a confidence builder to kind of get back in to actually build a product over the span of a weekend. And our product was based on basically a combination of Twilio, Salesforce, and Google Sites, which also all happen to be, most of them have been or are sponsors of these programs. So it was kind of fun to play around and be a shameless promoter of and proud promoter of our sponsors.
It's awesome. So are you leaving with what you wanted to leave with?
I think I wanted to leave here with a sense of confidence and meeting new talented people and gaining new skills. And now that I'm thinking about it, I gained all those, right? So I am leaving with what I wanted to leave with. So definitely.
Almost entirely yes, a little bit of no. So our product, we actually had grand visions of doing more than we actually did, but you're playing beat the clock. So it's kind of a unique challenge. Like we'll certainly build it out. It's just hard to do it and basically call it one productive day. But we had a couple of pivots. So we built the functionality we wanted to and delivered a live product. So you can actually view it at signup.vet. And we'll keep toying around with it. And it actually solves a challenge that both of us face around mail lists and engagement around events for both Patriot Boot Camp, Bunker Labs, and Operation Code.
That is amazing. So you actually have a product at the end of this. You made this thing and it's functioning.
Yep, it's live.
Yep.
It's live.
It might be, it's a product. It's certainly a feature, and I think it's got the potential to become more. That the notion was to be the one place to kind of the list to the subscribe, unsubscribe to lead all the others, and it could become a hub of actually customer feedback for veteran nonprofits, since there's 45,000 of them, and it could also become a hub to connect sponsors for people getting out of the military into cities they want to go to, or even more important, business mentors to companies they're targeting or industries they're interested in.
Do you have any advice for other veterans who might be looking at Hackathon 2, Hackathon 3, son of Hackathon, and they're thinking, I want to do it, but I'm not sure if I should, or maybe this isn't my might fit. What's your advice to somebody who might want to participate in something like this?
Yeah, I mean, if you're interested in the tech community, the best way is probably to just get yourself out there, expose yourself to the new, exciting, different challenges in tech. Besides putting yourself out there, look at it, as an experience to learn. When you kind of dip your feet or dip your toes into this tech water, so to speak, every new skill that you learn has a 1-to-1 correlation with your compensation package. So the more you learn, the more you earn. And I think that since this industry is based off of merit, it's a meritocracy. Veterans are incredibly disciplined. They can gain that merit and then be gainfully employed.
Don't disqualify yourself. Go attend an event. I personally had the confidence to kind of put myself on a team this time where I hadn't typically done that, because I had attended and supported a startup weekend in Madison previously. So I kind of had a closer sense of what the program is. And I was just having this discussion with Emily McMahon of Bunker Labs here in D.C. So she was a judge here, so she's more eager to kind of do a vet hack next time. And part of it is people kind of intimidate themselves or disqualify themselves. You don't have to sling code to come to one of these events. We certainly have those people in the room, and we had a brand new computer science grad who doesn't otherwise have a military affiliation show up, just community minded, likes doing vet hacks, is actually on the job search. So there are plenty of technical people. We have nerds in the room that can help, but don't not come because you don't have an idea or because you don't write code.
And God bless those nerds. God bless those nerds. Gents, thanks so much for being part of this event. We need more veterans out here interested in the technology and teaming up with those more tech savvy people to make us tech savvy. I mean, that's really it's osmosis. We're learning from these guys, and it was very cool to see you working with a civilian, a young man who showed up here just trying to like you said, go out there, expose himself to new technology, new people. He walked out of here with some experience. He never worked with veterans before. I had sat and talked with him a couple of minutes, and he was just like, this is different. This is very different. And I was like, awesome, dude. Awesome. So,
and he walked out of here with a referral to a colleague, a friend of ours at Google. And now he's got a project he can demonstrate that we built on Google Sites.
God, dog. Look at that. We are just killing this network game. Like I said, putting the work back in network. Any parting shots?
For any members out there who are associated with the military in any capacity, there's a community called Operation Code where we welcome people who are interested in the tech industry. By 2020, a study shows that there will be over 1 million unfilled programmer jobs, and from my understanding, there seems to be a veteran unemployment issue that's arisen, and so I think that there's a solution in the tech industry. So operationcode.org can welcome community members. We're already over 3,000 people.
Sure, and I'll add to that. So should all veterans, particularly those that are serving in active duty, should go register for, there's an online launch lab at Bunker Labs. So it's kind of going on now. They'll run it twice per year. So that's intended to kind of introduce particularly people still on active duty that haven't transitioned yet, to start them, get them to help them get familiar with the concepts of entrepreneurship. And then Bunker Labs is now in 17 cities and actually has a waiting list of about 70. they're preparing, or we are preparing a strategy to kind of try to be in all 50 states in the next 12 months. But again, we're already in 17 cities. And so the best thing a lot of people can do is go to bunkerlabs.org, sign up for the newsletter, both at the headquarters or when you sign up, you'll indicate the city you're in. And so that market closest to you, get plugged into the professional community that Bunker Labs offers veterans to connect around professional networking. So it really, the heartbeat of what I feel Bunker Labs represents, it's professional networking for military veterans, and mentorship and all the actual business opportunities are sparked by actual connections.
An amazing last 72 hours. Very stressful. Lots of work being done. Joe, you didn't win, but I feel like you did. Tell me about what you're going through right now.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I didn't get the prize. I didn't get, the first invite to Patriot Boot Camp in Denver. But yeah, absolutely. I feel like I still won. I'm smiling right now. I couldn't sleep last night. I was up at 5 this morning working on the product. I'm just like so happy that I found it. So I feel like in the past weekend, I moved my product forward more in these past, 2 days than I have in the past year. So definitely a good investment of my time this weekend.
Anthony, how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good. I'm actually pretty excited for Joe. I'm sure it shows the amount of effort that he brought to this weekend's hack event, and also seeing the progress from seeing his initial pitch of it to actually, collaborating together and sort of pushing the needle further along to sort of get it to some way he can visualize the extent to where he want to reach the product. So I'm feeling good in spite of not winning, because we all want to win. However, they are wins even in the spite of a loss. So I think from there, the lessons learned are bunker down and actually, foresee, the solution going forward. So
you came here with your goals. You came in here with some ideas of what you wanted to do. Did you do it? Are you walking out of here with what you wanted?
So I am, every event I go to, I'm just hoping to find one more breadcrumb in my long journey of starting a software company and hopefully solving some pretty big problems. So this weekend I am walking away with a wire diagram and a couple contacts of local web developers who might be able to help me out.
So yeah, absolutely. I came in with little expectation. However, I gained a lot, because I wanted to sort of get a feeling of how the whole experience will work out. And I have a good idea going forward for whenever I want to push my my idea and work on that. And also, I may have a potential platform to utilize within my organization. So I'm definitely going to look to keep in contact with Joe as a potential, organizational platform going forward. So
that's terrific, gents. It's always good to see not just the collaboration, but the friendships and the partnerships that form from these kinds of events. Joe, did you ever think you'd be at a hackathon?
No, I did not. Man, 3 years ago, I knew nothing about computers. I don't know anything about software. My phone right now is like from 2013. I am not a software guy. I'm not a tech guy. I just want to solve a problem, and I think software is the best way to do it. So here I am at a hackathon talking to web developers, talking to people in the tech world. My bookshelf is lined with books on startups, tech startups. So that's my passion right now. Never expected it.
Yeah, same here. I didn't expect to be in a hackathon. I thought the hackathon was designed specifically for those who are developers, coders. And anyone who has no knowledge of that sort of like is a misnomer. So I came here and I actually, convinced myself otherwise that, hey, you don't have to be a programmer or developer to participate in a hackathon. And I think the outcome of what we worked on this week proved that.
Ladies, congratulations on winning the first Vet Hackathon here in the DC area. Congratulations. How does it feel? What are you guys thinking right now?
Wow. Well, we did it.
I still don't know what's happening.
I think you're in shock.
You look like you want to cry. You look like there's a lot happening right now.
I'm exhausted, and this morning I was like, it's not working, and we should just pack up and leave now, and why even bother sticking around for the pitch? And so it's kind of shocking that,
we rocked
shocking.
it. We really rocked it, though.
Tell me about the last 24 hours. How has that been?
Did we sleep? We did sleep.
A little, yeah. Sort of. It was fitful sleeping, for sure.
Again, our third member never came back, ever.
Well, apparently that was a good thing.
I know. It's just as well.
It worked out okay.
It's just as well. What did happen? We've been in the zone, and we've been balancing each other out, and we are a really good team. We balance.
Was there a moment where this just came together? It just fell into place?
No.
It was just, it seemed like a gradual then?
It's been a gradual achievement.
Yeah.
And then during the presentation, it crapped out. But I'm a military spouse. We just moved that HDMI cable right to the other laptop. Bam, right back in service again. And, that's what you do. You just roll with it as a mil spouse. You just keep going. And the roller coaster, it's exciting.
One of the things that stood out to me about your presentation, about your project, was its applicability across the board for both service members and spouses. Mm-hmm. Is this something you were thinking about as you were developing it, is how this would affect the service member also?
Well, we started thinking about us because PCS is close to our heart. Mm-hmm. But the more you look at it, you just realize it's bigger and bigger. And then even once I started looking at the apps, I'm like, okay, there aren't any military apps. Are there even civilian apps? And there are a few, but they're crap. So really, today, military spouses, tomorrow, the world. So, it's just, there's a lot of opportunity.
I rarely think of the service member.
Nor should you. You're the mil spouse. It's about you. No, it really is. You guys, I think that it is part of the veteran entrepreneurial roadmap where a lot of mil spouse, you guys get kind of forgotten. And the fact is, we can't do what we do without you, especially when these PCS moves come up. We're still doing the 9 to 5. We're still doing our job. We're depending on those dependents to get that house packed up, to get those kids. And I've seen it. I've been there. The kids, because I was a single dad for a hot bit. And when you're trying to PCS with kids, it seems like you have to take them, and pets, you have to take them to these things. You brought up a great example where the truck shows up and there's mold. I had a truck show up in Germany, and all of my clothes were everywhere inside the truck.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do. Mm-hmm. I accepted the packet. I accepted it. And I was told right off, like, oh, you weren't supposed to do that. I'm like, well, no, there was nothing, yes, they hand me paperwork, but it's a pile of paperwork. How do I know what's important? And if it's on the app, it should be, you can prioritize those things. Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
Yeah, and future, right now we're thinking CONUS moves, but eventually future capability would be OCONUS. I personally moved to and from England. And every country does it a little different, and it's exciting.
Yes, definitely.
So what are your thoughts now? Where do you go from here?
I think we want to finish the project. We actually didn't do it the way we had wanted to, so it's not on the right platform, not on the best platform for what it does. So it's not very scalable at this point. So getting it on the right platform first, fleshing out the web portion, and then making it an app for phones would be, I think, our way forward.
I would like, hopefully, to have at least a few user testers this move season just to get some user feedback and to see what they feel, how they feel about how it's received.
Terrific. What do you have? Do you have any advice, any words of wisdom for a mill spouse out there who's got an idea for a business and doesn't know what to do with it yet?
It's like mill spouse life. You just jump in. I mean, if you don't push yourself, if you don't jump in with both feet, no one's going to do it for you. You have to have the confidence in yourself. You have to believe in yourself because no one else will. You have to be there for yourself.
I would add that you could find a lot of collaboration with other mill spouses. I'll give a little shout out to Millspo Member Mastermind. They're really great if you have an idea for a business or you've started a business to get the support that you need, information that you need to move forward with that. But we are our own greatest resources. Our community is fantastic in that regard.
And if somebody wants to help you, if there's somebody listening to this and says, I want to be part of this process, how can they get hold of you?
LinkedIn?
LinkedIn?
Yeah, sure. LinkedIn would be great.
And what's a way they can talk to you on LinkedIn? What's your?
I am Carrie Lee Grady. No punctuation. That's KerriLeigh
Kimberly M. McCaffrey, as it's spelled, but not the British spelling. There's no E in the L-E-Y. It's just an L-Y.
Okay. Terrific. All right, folks. Again, congratulations. I'm really proud of what you guys did out here. I see the work that you put into it, and it's amazing.
Thank you.
And thank you for thinking about military spouses. Thank you for thinking about military families. And thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
All right.
You.
Talk about the hackathon that's going to happen 4 or 5 years from now.
Sure.
How do you envision that?
That's a good question. I think we're going to keep iterating and figuring out what the magic is and how we unlock that. It took a long time for us to figure that at Patriot Boot Camp for our core 3-day. We started this in 2012. We've done 12 of the programs in 9 cities, and we're just now starting to figure out how to be efficient at it, right? Took 6 years, 12 programs to do it. So I think we'll figure that out as we go along. It's just like any other startup. You figure out what works, what doesn't work, and you tweak and iterate. And that's sort of what we do, and that's the way we think about it. I would love to see some sort of hybrid model where we have some program mixed in with a builder event. Maybe it doesn't need to be 48 hours. Maybe it needs to be 72 hours. Who knows? I think we can take that model and flip it any way we can to have it work for our specific community, which is so different than, say, a regular tech community.
Mm-hmm. Outstanding. And what are your final thoughts? What do you want a veteran who might be listening to this, what do you want them to know about Patriot Boot Camp, about this hackathon, and about the next hackathon?
As we think about how we're growing the organization and trying to build out our community, I think the most important aspect of it is understanding that the entrepreneurial journey is the most difficult thing you'll go through, right? And just preparing that mentally. When you go through the military, you're not the only one going through it. Your family goes through it, your friends, your wife, your spouse, whatever it is, your partner. The entrepreneurial journey is very, very similar in that if you're ready to take that first step and say, I have an idea, I want to figure out if it has wings, you have to not only prepare yourself, but prepare others for it as well, because they go through it as well. I do a talk around the country called Surviving Startup Failure. I'm a product of failure. And it's not that I'm proud of it. It's that I use it as a vessel to teach others what they're about to go through. And the reason why I started doing this talk is we did a Patriot Boot Camp in Denver, Colorado in 2016. And I sat in front of, or 2017, I apologize. We sat in front of the room with a group of amazing veterans and military spouses. And I poured my heart out. I said, this is what happened. 3 months, couldn't get out of bed. Daughter's pulling at me, go play. I couldn't even get out of bed. I had veterans in the room who had seen combat action. I never saw combat action. Saw terrible, horrible things. Come home, start a business, and say to me, Josh, because my startup may fail, I have felt the desire to kill myself. That was profound to me.
That's real talk.
That's profound. It just goes to the thinking of just this journey you're about to go through. It is the hardest thing. And it's because if you fail, you feel as though you've let people down. When you're in combat, when you're doing something and you succeed in a mission, it's the best feeling ever. You can't replicate that in the entrepreneurial journey in the same way. And when you've built that up in your head and it doesn't work out, that's a bitter pill to swallow, especially in my case. I took money from friends and family. I took investment from investors. They'll never see that money again. And so it was really hard for me to look in the mirror and accept that it's okay to fail. It's okay to accept that. It's okay to look at those folks and say, I'm sorry I failed. I'll do better next time. And what I found about myself is just being okay with that failure. So I know that was a long-winded answer, but
it's a good answer.
But it's one of those things, like when people are thinking about when they want to go into vet hacks or they want to come into Patriot Boot Camp, I really try to align that expectation, because that's where tension breeds, is when you don't have that alignment of expectation. So I tell them, look, if you're ready for this, I'm here. You could call me at 2 a.m., but this is going to be the hardest thing you'll ever do, but I'll hold your hand the whole fucking way.
It's interesting you talked about failure, because that's something I touched on with Sam.
Yeah.
We talked about what is it about veterans that makes them want to go into business, what makes them successful in business. And it is primarily in part to the fact that we are used to embracing the suck.
Yeah.
We're used to that 15-kilometer road march. We're used to just gritting your teeth, bearing through, getting to the end, and having an opportunity to take your boots off and go, okay, that sucked.
Yeah.
Where's the next one?
Yep.
Do you think that, well, I guess, where do you think veterans are getting this entrepreneurial bug from? Do you think it's their service? Do you think it's the environment, the technology? Why are we jumping into this world of entrepreneurship?
It's a good. I think it's different for everybody. I think it depends on, like, for me, I spent a lot of time in the private sector before I decided that I wanted to start my own thing. So I was a telecom engineer for 15 years and decided I wanted to try to figure out how to solve a big problem. And I think that's part of it. Once you're exposed to something and you see a problem, veterans are very good at figuring out how to solve that problem. And I think they just have that innate mindset. Like, look, I was a deck seaman, right? That's the grunt of the grunt. We chased rust, right? But those same deck guys that go out there and chip paint and paint are the same people that discovered that our Kool-Aid could shine brass, right? Like, who does that? It's people that figure out, right, that our Kool-Aid is so acidic and had so much, stuff to eat through corrosive that they decided to put it in a cup, put it on a little rag, and go shine the bell that had oxidized up on the deck, right? That's entrepreneurship. It's just seeing a problem, finding the solution to fix it, right? Maybe they ran out of Neverdull and they said, I bet you this bug juice, which is eating away at my inside, can shine that bell. And sure enough, look at that. It's shiny and new, right?
That's awesome.
So, I think it's just, we're just built that way, right? Like, I've got white and I've got black. I need to paint haze gray. I'm going to mix it up.
You got to make it work.
Because my deck officer's telling me I can't order any more paint. We just figure stuff out, man. It's just the way we're built. And I think that's the same for every branch, right? Even people that are at the Air Force Innovation Center, I'm sure, sitting there, hacking away going, I bet you I can write an algorithm that does this and solves that problem. At every level of everything we do in all branches of the government, somebody's sitting there going, I bet you if I did that, it would be that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, first of all, for doing this event. I think that this event, things like this event, we need them. The veteran community is hungry for entrepreneurship. There are a lot of vets that have these ideas. What they need is somewhere to get fed, somewhere to learn, somewhere to get smart. And this is what this does. So let's stop, hey, I have this great idea, but only if and only how. And if I had the money,
That's right.
Everybody is expecting to run into Bill Gates in an elevator and be like, this is my time. This is it. I got 4 floors.
Yeah.
Bill, here's the thing. Instead of waiting for that moment, make that moment. And come to events like this.
Yeah, we're on a mission to build better founders, and to do that, we have to be more thoughtful about our programming. We have to be more focused. We have to drive mentors to be valuable, and we have to fail ourselves to be able to glean off the experience we've had to share that with the others.
And if people want to learn more about the Patriot Boot Camp or future hackathons, how can they do that?
The Patriot Boot Camp is patriotbootcamp.org. VetHacks is vethacks.org. We intentionally made them separate because VetHacks is a collaboration between Operation Code and Bunker Labs and Patriot Boot Camp.
Terrific. All right. Hopefully we'll get some of these guys to be clicking on your website and get some info. Thanks again for taking time out of your very busy schedule. And I know this has been a crazy busy event for you. I'm just glad I did snag you in for about 20 minutes.
No, I appreciate you guys being here. It's been amazing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was 3 days of a hackathon rolled up into about an hour and some change. Not too bad. One-man show. Great event. Loved it. If you want to learn more about the Patriot Boot Camp organization, make sure you visit patriotbootcamp.org. Again, that's patriotbootcamp.org. The next hackathon is coming up here in September 28th to the 30th. The application deadline is going to be June 1st. So you've got some time, but not a whole lot of time to apply. And then the next one is going to be in Seattle, Washington, October 19th through the 21st, 2018. If you want more information, visit vethacks.org. Again, that's vethacks.org for more information about applying to be a participant at the VetHack. Guys, I would love to go to Denver and participate myself. The After Action Review podcast, our parent company, Clear Commo, we have some ideas we'd like to put out there. Maybe VetHacks can make it happen. So maybe we might be taking a trip down to Denver, get some of that Denver, Colorado action going on, bring the AAR podcast in full effect at the next hackathon, or maybe not. Not sure how we're going to do that. But you should definitely look into this. Guys, I know you got some creative minds out there. Every time I talk to a veteran, especially about entrepreneurship, the subject of apps almost always comes up. I have an app idea. If I could just build this app, but I don't know how to build an app. I don't have the skill set to do this. Guys, you don't need to have the skill set. There's somebody waiting for you at a hackathon right now who wants to help you build that app. And it can happen. Boot Camp, patriotbootcamp.org, vethacks.org. That's the way you do it. Be prepared to stay up late. And if you're going to stay up late, the way you should stay up is maintaining a delicious caffeinated state. Folks, the seabaglocker.com is the place to get Mercenary Blend coffee. It is not too dark, not too light. It is a Goldilocks zone coffee. It's my personal favorite coffee. Buy yourself a bag of Seabag Locker coffee from the seabaglocker.coffee.com. Use promo code AAR. Get 10% off. Best way to get your coffee. 4 days roasted cup. Are you kidding me? Why deal with going to Starbucks? Thumbs down, Starbucks. Disgusting. The burnt coffee. No respect for the coffee. None. There's no respect or love for coffee from these giant chains. Get your coffee from a veteran-owned company. Put your money where your mouth is, folks. The seabaglocker.com, 10% off. Use promo code AAR. Folks, I want to also talk about my other sponsor, and that is the Java Can. And, is there a theme here? Is there a thing about me that I love coffee? Yes, I love coffee. I love caffeine. God, it's amazing. Keeps me going. And the Seabag Locker coffee, I keep wanting to give you the whole web address. That's how super stoked I am about this company. Seabag Locker coffee is pretty amazing, but you can't always take it with you, right? If you're on a bike ride, you're on a mountaintop, you can't make a cup of coffee. Well, now you can. The Java Can will help you make a delicious cup of coffee. It's an all-in-one coffee brewing system. It's ruggedized. It is in a 50 cal ammo can, so it looks pretty badass. It is the brainchild of an active duty special forces guy. Put this thing together and said, hey, I want you to be able to brew the freshest cup of coffee anywhere in the world. And now you can. And the way to do that is to go to www.thejavacan.com, use promo code AAR, get your 10% off, then take a selfie with your Java Can and make sure you hashtag the AAR podcast, throw it on Instagram, let me see it. I'm going to send you a free bag of Seabag Locker Coffee. Boom. That easy, folks. That easy. I'll tell you what's not easy is taking a chance. Taking a chance. Walking into an event like a hackathon and admitting maybe you don't know everything about computers, but you're willing to learn. You're willing to learn a new language. Everybody always asks me, like, what, do you speak other languages? And I say, yeah, I speak a little Spanish. I know enough Arabic to get myself in trouble. But what I don't speak is Python. And maybe I should. Maybe I need to learn some Java, some programming languages. Those things are really helpful in the world. They get you ready for all sorts of opportunities. Tremendous opportunities are out there right now. And if you want to set yourself up for opportunities, if you want to set yourself up for those doors, those moments that you have to seize, the best way to do that is make sure you have the right credentials. Make sure you're setting yourself up for the future of business, especially in the corporate world. And even as an entrepreneur, I'll tell you what you need is project management skills. And the man to go to for all your project management skills, all your project management questions, especially if you're going to take that test, that is a monster of a test. The guy for that is Chris McPhee, PMP. Ain't that great? It like rhymes. It even has like a smoothness to it. That's Chris McPhee. McPhee spelled McPhee. Yeah, Chris McPhee, PMP. He's a retired Green Beret and also a project management professional extraordinaire. This guy's putting out some amazing content on Facebook, and that's the way to find him. Chris McPhee, PMP. If you want to learn anything about the PMP process, that is the guy to go to. Folks, that does it for me. Still catching up. We have a lot of episodes still that I have not had a chance to get through because I thought I was going overseas. That didn't work out. So I'm going to be releasing some of the stuff that I had stored up. I figured, well, while I was overseas, instead of doing a bunch of interviews like I did last time from Kuwait, using crappy internet connections, I figured this time I would record prior and then release those recordings from there. Didn't work out. Doing it now. This week, Fernando Torres, we're talking about an amazing Latino politician, political leader. He is a business owner. He is a Latino Republican. Now, I'm not so deep into politics, but I do know that if you're a Latino Republican, you're probably a lightning rod for controversy. Find out how he does it. How does he balance politics and business? It's an amazing interview. Really great guy right here, local political leader. Of course, why not? We're in the D.C. area. Politics is the way everything is. It's a way of life that I'm learning. Just the way I'm trying to learn how to get through this terrible allergy thing that's going on. I am trying so hard not to cough right now, so I'm going to wrap it up. New episodes coming out this week, next week, trying to be like Cigar Stories, Cigar and Sea Stories, my buddy Bennett. That guy puts out so much content. If you haven't checked out his podcast, that is one heck of a podcast worth checking out, especially the one that I was on. That's right. Go check out my podcast interview. I was on their show, and he's going to be on this show very soon. That's right, Bennett. You're coming on the show. That's how it is. All right, folks, that does it for me. Like, listen, subscribe, and share the After Action Review podcast. Make sure you drop me a 5-star review on iTunes if you think I deserved it, which I think I did. I think I earned your 5-star review. And if I did, and you know I did, go ahead and drop that review on iTunes. And that's it. That's it. I'm done talking. All right, folks, I will see you at the next episode.